Hey guys, what's up? Evan from Stock Music Musician, and today I want to be asking two main questions about the pricing of Reason 10 and whether or not the Reason 10 upgrade should be free, and how should people that already own some of the bundled rack extensions be compensated for having already purchased those. So I'd really like to know what your thoughts are on these, so please leave your comments down below. As a brief roadmap, I think that probably Propellerheads' compensation policy for when they offer a free upgrade is more or less on the mark. It's about 2 months from September 1st forward, but I don't think they're doing it quite right with the way they compensate people who are already on these rack extensions. So let's jump on in. So the upgrade from Reason 9, or from any version of Reason, and that's also something, the upgrade from any version of Reason to Reason 10 costs like $129 US, something like that. So if you purchased Reason 9.5 before September 1st, you don't get a free upgrade. But if you purchased it on September 1st, which is right around the time they announced Reason 10, you do get a free upgrade. And that makes sense to me. Because if they hadn't done it, then they wouldn't sell any copies of Reason in that interregnum between when Reason 10 is announced and when it's released. Or those copies that they did sell would be to really pissed off customers who didn't realize that they were going to get Reason 10. But it seems to me like there should be a little bit more of a grace period. Roll it back a few more weeks, not months, but a few more weeks, so that people that were just on the cusp are covered as well. You see all sorts of comments in the forum being like, oh, I just bought it, just upgraded, and that really just sucks. So, I mean, obviously where you draw the line is always going to be a challenge, but it has to be somewhere between Reason 9.5, I guess, being announced in May and Reason 10 being announced in September. So if Reason 9.5 wasn't enough to make you upgrade, then I think that's probably, maybe late August is around the time. People that wanted that VST support and got it, I think you were buying that VST support if that's what made you upgrade. But then, if you bought it around August and you're just like, hey, this looks like a good DAW, let's get into it, I feel like that's slightly a different situation. That also said you don't have to upgrade all the time, and the fact that you could upgrade from Reason 1.0 to Reason 10 for the same price, well, that's a story for a different day, but potentially it's a great value. But now talking to something that I think has a lot of people a little more concerned, and that's the fact that Reason 10 is going to include Radical Piano and Syncrhonous for free. And these are Propellerhead created, Propellerhead developed rack extensions that used to sell, and that are still available for sale individually in the prop shop. So Radical Piano right now, I just checked, is listed for $99, and Syncrhonous is listed for $49. So the total value of those two rack extensions at today's prices is actually more than it would cost to upgrade to Reason 9, which on one hand makes Reason 9 look like a great, or Reason 10, sorry, would make Reason 10 look like a great deal. And I think Reason 10 is a good deal, even if you're on Reason 9.5. For reasons that I've explained elsewhere, and that I will, I'm sure, talk about more in the future. But today I just want to drill into that whole perverse disincentive that the Propellerheads are creating by coming up with this scenario where rack extensions that they develop eventually get rolled into Reason, which basically disincentivizes some of their most loyal fans from purchasing Propellerhead branded rack extensions in the future, right? If I think that, Parsec's going to become part of Reason 11, then why would I buy it? I'll just sit on the sidelines and wait. And so I think that creates sort of a weird system where they're actually hurting their own business and hurting their best fans and I think the developers of other software. Well, maybe they're helping the developers of other rack extensions, because those now somewhat become more appealing, since I don't think they'll ever be rolled into the default version of Reason. But to me, a better policy on this would be to give you a voucher to use towards other Propellerhead branded rack extensions. So if you bought, maybe 50% of the value. So if you bought Radical Piano and Syncrhonous, that's worth $140 roughly. You get like a voucher for $70 in the prop shop to use towards Parsec or Rotor or some other Propellerhead branded rack extension. Now this doesn't cost the Propellerheads a penny. They've already developed these. They don't have to physically distribute them, but they're doing a solid towards their community and taking care of the people that have already sort of been on the forefront of the rack extension community. And to me, this seems like a fair compromise between people that are big fans of Propellerheads and also the Propellerheads as the developer that needs to pay salaries and, develop their technology and grow. So what do you think about that proposal? Do you think that's reasonable? Do you think they should just get a free upgrade to Reason 10? Let me know your thoughts below, and as always, be sure to like and subscribe.